So you've heard from the Eagles. Now let's hear from a Saint. Joining us now in studio, Willie Whitehead, veteran defensive tackle. First off, thanks for taking some time to sit down with us. Well, you watched the game. Were you rooting for a specific team, or are you just ready to get back out on the field?
I ain't just ready to get back out on the field. You know, it doesn't really matter as far as who we're playing, because either team that we're playing, we have to get ready for them, prepare for them, just like anybody else. So, I'm just ready to get back out on the field and ready to go at it.
A lot's going to be made of the fact that in the NFL, sometimes it's hard to beat a team twice in a season. Going back to Week 6 when you guys had that great game with Philadelphia, you really can't compare those. It's like apples and oranges, because how much different of a team are the Eagles with Donovan McNabb as opposed to Jeff Garcia?
Well, it's a lot. It's electrifying. It's kind of a different team. McNabb brings a certain thing to the team, but with Garcia, he brought an energy. It's going to be fun.
It says a lot. He stepped right in there in what was a pretty tough situation up there. It's led them to 6 straight wins as they come in to the Superdome next weekend. They're on a roll right now.
Oh yeah, they're definitely on a roll. With the last couple of games they've been playing, and just like you said, it's just a different kind of energy that they have now with him. And I think they really have faith in him, that he can get the job done. He's been doing it. And like you said, we're going to really have to, just really focus on containing him, because, like you said, he's deceptive with his speed and, the way he can run. He can really move around.
They've also got some weapons that will be active as opposed to inactive the last time they came down, one namely Dante Stallworth. Talk about getting to play against a former teammate, and Darren Howard as well.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be great playing against those guys. I think it'll be a whole lot of trash going on, but it'll be fun playing against them. Played with him for a while.
I played with the guy that they really relied on. They wanted to get the ball into his hands was Westbrook, and he showed today that he can be dangerous when it's wet. He can be dangerous when it's cold. Indoors, he can be dangerous. What kind of athlete is he when he's on the field?
Westbrook, he's a great athlete. The guy can move around, cut on the dime. He has a quickness to, to find the holes, and they just let him, just find the creases. And I think that's going to be one of the main things, in the game. We have to stop the run. We have to really contain him and contain Garcia. But with Westbrook, he brings another dimension to the game.
All right, well, we know your opponent. It's going to be the Eagles. Stay with us. When we come back, more Willie Whitehead. Still ahead on. When the Saints clinched a playoff spot, Sean Payton was asked what he thought about the Saints' playoff history, which isn't that extensive and contains 5 losses and just 1 win. It's just that, Payton replied, history. And for one Saints receiver, putting the past behind him as well has led to a much better present.
Breeze with time, fires wide open for a first down and a fumble. That's Copper, and it's coming out, it looks like, before the elbow hits down.
That's just part of the game. You just got to have a short memory about it.
Good thing for Terrence Copper, though, that Sean Payton doesn't. During their time in Dallas, Copper made an impression. And after he was released by the Cowboys shortly after training camp, Sean Payton immediately picked Copper up.
He's a guy that, comes in, can play special teams and gives you some versatility on your game day roster. And with Joe going down, he's played quite a bit now. He's played a lot of receiver this year.
Injuries to both Horn and Marcus Colston led to career highs in catches, yards, and touchdowns for Copper. His contributions have been perhaps more than anticipated, but not more than expected.
You can never predict or anticipate how that's going to unfold. You just hope that the players that are playing in those roles are ready to step in and execute and function. He's been able to do that.
When I came in here, I wanted to come in here and play some receiver, and as well as contribute on special teams. And so, yes, my expectations are very high for myself. After all, lofty goals ward off complacency. Copper was an undrafted free agent out of college, and being released, well, that's never easy on the ego. Couple all of that with the Pittsburgh fumble, and Copper's medal is fueled by a very large chip that rests squarely on his shoulders. I'm never proving anything, never. I'd never prove anything, so I just got to keep working. That's my mentality. Even if you do good, to me, I haven't proved anything, so that's what I'm working towards. As the Saints work towards proving they belong in Miami.
And joining us again in studio, Willie Whitehead, and we watched that Terrence Copper story. And here's a guy, you know, kind of like you, bounced around a few times. Maybe now he's actually stuck to a team. But talk about the accountability maybe that the players on this team, as opposed to some teams that you've been on in the past. How different is it under Coach Payton?
Oh, it's a lot different, you know, from the teams of the past. I mean, with Coach Payton, I mean, he brings you know, it's a lot of accountability with him, and he's very serious about we being accountable to him, and he's accountable to us, and he wants, he's straight up with everything, and if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. He's gonna let you know, regardless. But that's really a big thing. It's a great thing that we held accountable. Everybody's held accountable with him and everything, because it makes you play harder, makes you work harder, because you know that you have to bring your best game.
Is there a fine line, especially with a guy that's maybe comes across as kind of a disciplinarian like Sean Payton, to make sure and still treat his players like professionals? And does he handle that pretty well? Yeah,
I think so. He handles it very well. With having that balance, and you have to have that balance. Especially in the NFL, and yeah, he treats the players like men, and treats us with respect. But at the same time, you got to get the job done. Mm-hmm. So I think to have that balance is very important.
Let's go back to 2000. You were on that team, 10-6, division champs, in the playoffs. Now you get the first round bye. What's the main difference? What do you see the difference from 2000 to this year?
Well, I think like probably the main difference is just the guys that we have. Is the guys that we have on the team now. It's a lot of character guys on the team now. It's a lot of guys that come from winning programs, that know what it takes to win. We just really have we really got a lot of good guys on the team, and a lot of guys that really want to win, that have the burning desire to win. And I think that's very important. That's really the main thing. Like I said, even with Coach Payton, and the coaching staff, that's really a big difference too. Because they're really holding us accountable.
Not just happy to be here.
Yeah, not just happy to be here and just to get in the playoffs, but they're raising our level of expectation, and that's really the main thing. And Coach Payton, is pointing out with that, as far as raising your level of expectation and going, reaching for the top, reaching for the prize.
Sean talked about the way that he handled the bye week against the Ravens, that he really wanted to do something a little bit different. He didn't like the way that he did that, hindsight being 20/20, of course. You guys lose to the Ravens. So far, how did he handle that bye week? And did you see him change it up, and do you like what he's doing now heading into this week?
Yeah, I pretty much like. I think a lot of guys like the way he handled it this week. Right after the game, we got a chance to get the rest, and I guess it keeps a lot of guys focused, on what we have to do, and not, I guess, taking so much time off with the weekend or whatever. But it just really, it's really keeping a lot of guys focused on the game, and that we've got a game to play next week.
Mm-hmm. Next week, 7 o'clock in the Superdome, the New Orleans Saints against the Philadelphia Eagles. Willie, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Enjoy. All right.
He's the toast of the town and the coach of the year in the National Football League. We'll have an in-depth interview with the Saints head coach coming up next. Appearance to help rebuild the Gulf Coast, but he also knows that with every win, his Saints bring a smile to a lot of people who don't really have much to smile about. Juan Kincaid sat down with the NFL's coach of the year to find out what makes him smile.
I want you to think back a little bit to when you first thought about taking this job. How many times did you turn this job down in your head before finally saying yes by opening your mouth?
It's a whirlwind. The season ends, and you've got a lot going on from a schedule standpoint. You're trying to prepare for interviews and put together schedules, all the things that you feel are necessary when you make a presentation or you sit down in front of people. And that being said, there's still that part of you that you're uncertain as to, hey, what's in store for the team, what's in store for that area, that region, and those are all concerns you have moving from one area to another area, and in this case, a city that had just been, devastated with a hurricane.
For you, was it understanding what you're walking into before you walk into it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're anytime you're in an interview situation or you're looking at a new job, you know, you're educating yourself on not only the job itself, but the region and you know, where you're going to live, you know, where your kid's going to go to school. So those are all things that go into it. And certainly this one was a little bit more unique than others.
Changing people's perception, changing people's attitude about this franchise, was that maybe #1 priority in your mind?
Well,
one of the top?
You know, it wasn't so much the perception, it was, you know, the reality of saying, hey, who gives us a better chance to win games? And we want the players that put the team first, players that we feel are tough, that have character, that understand what it takes to win. And all the other things kind of can take care of themselves. The perception from fans, the perception from media, and everyone else around the country will change only if they see a product that's changed.
Head coach at 42 years of age, are you surprised it happened that quickly, or not surprised by it? It's young.
Well, you know, I've never tried to look at a timeline or an age where I said that, you know, I need to be doing this. You know, I used to think I just wanted to coach college football, you know, for 8, 9, 10 years. That was something that I really enjoyed doing. And, you know, the opportunity came to coach in the NFL, and, you know, I've tried to just stay more focused on the job I had and doing a good job with that, and let the other things take care of themselves. And that's always kind of worked for me, at least. And, you know, it's too easy to worry about the next job or what age am I going to be in this position. And some of that stuff you don't have control over. So, you know, the thing you do have control over is, you know, how well you're currently handling the job you're doing.
Who's most impressed with your success? Your old teammates, best friends back up in Naperville, or your kids?
You know, I think it's most important to the family. You know, the friends are excited about it all and are happy for you and want to see you do well, no different than the way I want to see them do well. So they're different relationships, both of them good ones.
Connor and Megan, the most popular kids in school?
They're doing well, and you know, they've got a pretty good heads on their shoulders about keeping everything in perspective and what's important. And you know, I think the transition has gone fairly smooth for them.
From my understanding, Connor's picking up football through Madden. Obviously, you can't simulate the hits on that. I don't know how active Megan is in sports, but I know your mom and dad were very active in your life when it came to sports, always there to support you, being a part of this, that, and the other. How much have you made it a priority, or will you make it a priority to be very active in what they do extracurricular? Well,
the challenge is you know, trying to get to events that they participate in, and that's where, you know, Beth does a great job. But you know, I was able to see Megan, her basketball team, play a few games this year. That was great to see Connor play soccer. You know, they're involved in the same sports all the kids get involved in at this age. You know, it's tough when you miss an event, like you missed the last soccer game, or you miss the, you know, you don't get to see them all, and so you try to get to as many as you can, and that's important. And but it's neat watching them grow up. It happens fast.
Is it easy for you to get in and out of coach mode, coach parent mode, when you leave these doors here?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you know, it's no different than going to work and then leaving work. You know, it just might be that you're here longer, but you know, I think the mode I'm in when I'm with my children and my wife is certainly different than the mode I might be in when I'm here in the building working with the other coaches on a game plan. So I can separate that pretty easily, I think, and I think that's important too as well.
What would be the one surprise things people would be surprised to hear about you?
You know, I don't know that there's, I mean,
are you a great cook?
I'm not a good cook. I like to barbecue. I like to listen to music. In the summertime, you know, we'll spend a lot of time, you know, hanging out, relaxing, listening to music. You know, when we have that time off, we've got some good friends. Sometimes we'll share a vacation with the kids.
I heard your music tastes have changed.
No, well.
From heavy metal to country.
There's never heavy metal. Living in Texas, though, we began to enjoy a lot of country music, and we try to get out and see different shows. But I think that I'm probably a lot like the normal guy. I mean, I think, you know, I'm married. I've been married 15 years now, and I'm blessed with 2 children. You know, I enjoy being around my family when that time comes in the year, and when it's the off season, in the evenings, the weekends, and then the summertime the same way. I mean, I wish I could tell you I read romance novels or did something like that. I mean,
You sure you want to tell us that?
I don't, though. I mean, I don't have any. I enjoy normal stuff, and probably try to exercise more in the off season and get out more. But it's hard in season to be involved in a lot of things other than what we're doing in family. And generally, if we're not doing something, then I'm spending it with the kids.
In fact, today during the Giants game, Sean Payton was watching a youth basketball game. We'll have part 2 of Juan Kincaid's interview with Sean Payton coming up after the break.
A quick word association. Tell me what comes to mind here. Bill Parcells.
Great coach.
You can expand on this one. Leicester Panthers.
Leicester Panthers. That was a stop for me when I was young, and in a bunch of good people in England, in a good town.
We have English beer and Steve Devine to thank for you getting here.
That's right.
FireSeanPayton.com.
I don't know anything about it. What is it?
When this team was 9-4, there was someone that made a website that said FireSeanPayton.com because they weren't satisfied. Said they should have been 13-0. That's the expectation, I guess, that you've raised for this franchise in such a short time. It's ironic, isn't it? But that's a good thing, though, isn't it? In a roundabout sort of way.
I guess so. You know, I don't pay attention to some of that stuff. You know, I just try to pay attention to how we're doing and our next game and the things that are important. But at some point, they want to fire everyone.
I imagine you like how you've raised the expectations here. That's what a coach wants to do, have success, make people want more success.
I think that's important. I think the players want that as well. You know, I think the players work hard in the off season. They spend a lot of time in training camp, and you know, you want to be able to get to a stage where you know that work is now going to the postseason. You have a chance to play for a championship, and you know, that's why we do it.
Are you motivated by the people out there that are still waiting to see this bubble burst, to see this team not succeed?
I'm not. I don't. That wouldn't drive me at all. I mean, I guess what drives me is the same thing that I think drives most of us in this business is you know, the idea of accomplishing something as a team that is difficult, that's not easy, and it's something that you would share then from that point forward for the rest of your life with everyone who was a part of it. And so, and that's what's most important, and I think that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Scott Fujita was quoted as saying, "There's more going on in a game now than just a typical game." In other words, it seems like the players get what this team means to this community. And people in Naperville told me the reason why he's so successful being you is that he understands what the job is all about. How much do you use Katrina as motivation still? How much can you use it? How much is it? How dangerous is it to keep using it?
Well, I don't use it still. I mean, I think at the beginning of the year we talked about this area and we talked about our role as a team and the impact we could have. But it's not something that I bring up on a weekly basis or even a monthly basis. I mean, right now we're playing for an opportunity to get to the NFC Championship game and get to the Super Bowl. And you know, I think our players understand the significance this team has in this community.
I know you don't want to think about this, but have you thought about winning a Super Bowl here? What it would mean to this franchise, this community?
You know, I think all of us at some point, I might be speaking for the players and the assistant coaches and the other members of the organization. I know that, you know, occasionally, you know, I'll see that or see that vision or see that picture and think about that time and it's exciting. It's exciting to be in a position to know that you're 2 games away from playing in that game. You know, having been there in that game before as an assistant coach, it's tough getting there, and there are no promises, and you can coach a long time. So this is an exciting time of the year, and it's exciting because you can see some of those goals right in front of you.
One last thing, and complete this sentence. If I weren't a head coach in the NFL, I would be?
I would be, I'm sure, working in business, probably spending more time than I get to with the family, but probably be in business, doing something. I don't know what, though.
You could run for political office here.
No, I don't want any part of that.
Sure.
No, I'm not interested. Not now.
So he's saying there's a chance? Thanks for staying up late with us. Special thanks to Willie Whitehead. For Juan Kincaid and everyone else that makes this show work, I'm Scott Cody. Have a great week, and God bless.
About a playoff game.
And talking big-name entertainment surrounding the game. Right outside the Superdome and just before the game, big music acts will perform right here on the Broadbar Bridge. The Rebirth Brass Band, Luther Kent, and the Steve Miller Band. And there's no halftime act during Saturday's playoffs. Instead, there's a punt, pass, and kick competition. Steve Miller will sing the national anthem. Among dozens of great hits, the rock legend is famous for Fly Like an Eagle.
That was one of his songs, but if anything, they can get back on the plane and go back to Philadelphia and enjoy the off season. That'll be the only eagle flying here.
We are asking our Saints fans to come early for the food, the fun, the music, and the festivities, to cheer as loudly as you possibly can against the Eagles.
Music to the ears of Saints fans who've been waiting 6 years for a playoff game and even longer for a chance at the Super Bowl. LaTanya Norton, WDSU, News Channel 6.
The Saints long, the answers were a bit shorter, the smiles a bit fewer for Sean Payton as he met the news media today. It's the divisional playoffs, and he has a lot of work to do, while making sure he provides no bulletin board material in Philadelphia along the way. After a week of uncertainty that provided its own anxiety, the Saints now know whom they'll play and when. That the Eagles would be here was pretty much expected. The rumor last week was that the Saints would get the Saturday night primetime game, as they will. That would appear to be the best possible time for the Saints to host here this weekend. But as you might expect, the head coach stopped short of saying so.
I think we would have been comfortable playing any one of the slots. The fact that we were playing at home, obviously, we felt real good about and putting ourselves in that position. But, you know, had it been the earlier game or on Sunday, you know, you get ready to go when you play. So, but I know, obviously, having been here a short period of time, you know, it can get crazy and loud here on a night game, and I think that the fans will be looking forward to that, so that's exciting.
And it will be crazy, and it will be loud.
And it will
Often.
be winning. Okay, thanks, Jim. It's not often you see the Rebirth Brass Band parading through Saints camp, but playoff plans call for it since the team today announced that Rebirth will be a part of a special afternoon of pregame entertainment before Saturday night's big game. The outdoor entertainment begins at 2 o'clock outside of Gate C at the Super.
There are men and there are times, and how fortunate for this city and its fans that these are the men in Saints uniforms for these times. Good players on the field, good citizens off it. Before this season, there were coaches and players here that Saints fans had concluded they could or never would root for again. One was Aaron Brooks, who as an Oakland Raider was asked about Katrina. He replied that he just wanted to be cleansed of the Katrina experience. As he was cleansing himself while never the quarterback of a winning effort all season in Oakland, Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, their teammates and coaches were embracing the situation here. Reggie Bush feeding the children with 2 tractor trailers full of food. Drew Brees and Mike McKenzie giving away 300 bikes to children. John Carney buying 75 underprivileged kids 2 pairs of shoes and school supplies. Deuce McAllister hosting shopping trips at Walmart. These are players among many who have opened not only their wallets but their hearts. The result has been the bonding of players and fans, the likes of which hasn't happened here since perhaps the founding of the franchise. In the process, they have spawned a new generation of Saints fans who are outwardly rooting for good players while responding internally to the character of good people. I've always felt that New Orleans was the most unique city in America because you experience it with all your senses. You can see that it's different. You can taste it in its food and hear it in its music. You can smell it, although not always pleasantly. But most of all, you feel it. What fans of the Saints who live in New Orleans and the Gulf South are feeling now, they have never felt before. I dare say that can be said of these players as well. If both are experiencing a unique feeling Sunday morning, they will be doing so as they have all season long, together. And that's a look at sports.
That's great.
And it had to be, I know for a lot of Saints fans, you talk about unique feelings, to sit around this weekend and go, who do we want to play?
That's right.
We don't want them, we want them. I mean, that's just unique.
Don't you feel better, though, now you know who they're going to play and you know when they're going to play them? All last week,
Yes.
I think everybody was kind of like this.
Yes.
And now there's a target in sight.
That's
Very
right.
good.
Victory in sight. We're in